Here is Immortal Moments for explanation. Friends, like videos and subscribes to our channel. Immortality Season 6 Episode 43 Explanation. So let's start our explanation. Fang Han constantly dissipated his own methods of heaven and earth, infiltrated into every corner of the 8 floating sects, and kept going back and forth. Then he again smashed his half-undead body, powerful and vigorous. The vitality was filled with the 8 floats. At this moment, he and the 8 floating sects have a feeling of flesh and blood. It seems that the 8 bas-reliefs are their own bodies, and their bodies are also 8 sects. Even. Fang Han felt that if he continued to cultivate this way, he himself would be killed, and even the 8 floating buds could be reborn into a second one. This is the life magic weapon. Many masters who have cultivated into immortality are themselves suppressed, or trapped in the Jedi to be thoroughly refining. His glimpse of the spirit will be reborn in the magic of this life. Therefore, the magic of this life is not the same. It is related to the life of a monk. However, Fang Han is still far from the cost of the 8 floating abattoir, at least until he becomes a giant. Bang! Once again, the law of the heavens and the earth was scattered, half of the undead body, and walked among the 8 floating sects. All the people felt it. Fang Han was the real master of the 8 bas-reliefs. As long as he had a thought, the whole squad would be embarrassed. Fine light, various sounds, and even this boy will condense to the extreme and then explode. Fang Han, your strength has been raised to the extreme, but unfortunately your law of heaven and earth is too strong. It is difficult to have a close connection with the heavens and the earth, and it is 10 times more difficult than me to hit the realm of supernatural powers. Fang Qingxue suddenly opened his eyes. Yeah, I feel the realm of reinvigorating my life, branding my own spirit into the heavens and the earth. I feel the rules of the destiny of the heavens and the earth in the midst of the world, such as the water of the fish, the more than enough, but my strength is too strong, into the world. It's too hard. Fang Han completely recovered his own law of the heavens and the earth, and half of the undead body formed and shook his head. Originally, he wanted to break through the realm of supernatural powers and change his life, and then take longevity fruit in one fell swoop, 7 lives Xian Men Dan. If you break through the longevity and become a giant of the ages, then killing a child like killing a dead dog, but he did not think that it is so difficult to break through the realm of supernatural power. Your life is still long, no hurry, no matter how long it will be done. Your hopes are much bigger than mine. Fang Qingxue smiled. 7 days have arrived. Let's go out and see if these days come. How many characters, you completely killed a wishful son, it is today. It turned out that, unconsciously, 7 days have arrived. Good. But Snow Master, you still don't want to show up. Otherwise, others think that you have borrowed me not to destroy the electric sign, and it will cause you a lot of trouble at that time. Trouble? What trouble? Fang Qingxue sneered coldly, you are the one who is my family. I will help you. And now the combination of the electric and the chaotic thunder, the symbol is broken into the blade. Who can see it? Between the talks, she screamed and rushed out of the 8 Buddhism to the summit of the reincarnation. Xingyun baby, Indigo sister, witch, Crane fairy, Hongi County master. Pure fox little demon girl. You all come out. I want to fight with the wishful son. You are not easy to be among the 8 Buddhism. As for the Black King, the Wu Taoist. Originally, I was the person who crossed the river, and it was equivalent to the magic weapon. I didn't have to come. Fang Han told me after the Nebula baby, Indigo, and other people came out, swallowed the mouth and swallowed the 8 floats. Among them, tearing his hands, it seems to tear the void, the figure has come to the sky, looking far into the heavenly platform. At this moment, in the far-reaching hall of the Qianpengtai, there are already filled people, all of whom are peerless. Among them there are many ancient giants, and even the elders of the devils. Or was invited by the wishful person to testify, or got the news, at any cost to the Yuhuamen, to see how Fang Han challenged the giants. Fang Han came out. Good momentum, it seems that his momentum has reached its peak. How did Rui have not come yet? The duel between them is today. Some masters saw the square cold that rushed out of the reincarnation peak. They were all shocked and their eyes spurred. And two people are coming over. Fang Han glanced at the past. Actually, it was Jiao Fei who had defeated in the exquisite blessing. There is also the autumn drizzle of the exquisite land. Fang Han, you challenge the wishful sun, do not grasp it. Ling Long Xianzuan also heard the news, specifically ordered me to see, what do you have to rely on? Take such a big risk? You know, to your present savings, with the help of my exquisite and blessed land, I have been practicing for 3 or 5 years, and it has become a stable for the giants of the ancient times. You want to be immortal, and I also have immortals in the blessings of the land. I want to use the device, I also have a good instrument. These opponents, after a few years to see him, you can suppress him at random, why should you take risks now? In the face of many people, the autumn drizzle does not hide the purpose of the exquisite blessings. The exquisiteness of Ling Long Xianzuan is my heart, but the cultivation is based on myself. My challenge is to temper, to get the experience of fighting with the giants of the ancients, and to lay the foundation of the majestic. Ling Long Fudi can give me the medicine. I can give me a device, but I can't temper it. The most important thing about monasticism is tempering. Fang Han looked at the autumn drizzle and said, what's more, if I don't have absolute certainty, it won't be so awkward. In this case, I will not persuade you. But I have to tell you that Rui has borrowed his apprentice's great old furnace, and Mace Huxian, Tong Shuxian, Lu Lanpo, and Yun Yun are working together to cultivate a supernatural power. Even the 4 men gave a part of their life to the wishful mind, trying to help him break through the realm of immortality. Hey! Where is the undead body? And it is so easy to break through, he has to break through and break through. I have to wait for the present? When he was promoted to the Van Hoff giant, the rules of the fairy tales were not perfect, even if it was saved, it would be useless. Fang Feng was also aware of the law of Xianjie Avenue when he was promoted to the longevity of Yang Shui, knowing what was going on. Thinking of Smoke 1, he felt a move, now the Smoke should become the deputy head, the name should also be changed, called the Genius of Smoke. I don't think you know so clearly about the longevity secrets. Autumn Drizzle shocked, I just told you this news, I also expect you to have any killer, can kill the unscrupulous. After that, her body moved and flew back to the welcome hall. Jiao Fei, what are you doing for me? Could it be for the law enforcement disciples? Fang Han turned to look at Jiao Fei. I am coming to rely on you. I will teach my stranger of the sword of the devil, saying that the robbery will come, and you may have a chance to rely on you. I dare not violate the meaning of this predecessor. Jiao Fei respectfully said. Oh. Fang Han thought in his heart, and suddenly he knew that it was definitely the hearted old man who helped him to defeat the dragons and the Taoist people. It turned out that the old man of the devil called you. Since it is the arrangement of this predecessor, I must have his deep meaning. As the first true disciple of the Tongqian swordsman, it is not appropriate to openly rely on me. But I am to unite the disciples of the major immortals and set up a law enforcement team, you will be the first person. From then on, we will join hands. In tandem with Xian Dao, we will make a vigorous event. Fang Han did not know what the old man of the devil had made Jiao Fei come to rely on himself, but the old man apparently had no malice. And he said that the robbery is approaching, and obviously knows about the Protoss invasion. The master of this level of the devil is almost nothing to hide him. I am at the 10 gates of Xian Dao, and the friendship is still vast. I will do this for me. Jiao Fei nodded. If you are a gentleman, you can meet this predecessor again, I hope I can help me. Let him teach me the complete magic sword. No problem. Go, let's come. Between Fang Han's words, he looked up at the sky fiercely. His eyes had already penetrated into the white clouds. In the high 9-day hurricane layer, he suddenly saw the 9-day hurricane layer of 1,000 miles and was completely torn by the 5 shares. Cracked, all the hurricanes suddenly condensed in the middle, forming 5 huge tornadoes, landing down, hurricane, and rotation, as if the 5 wind-powered dragons swayed, all fell on the platform. Subsequently, the 5 huge tornadoes disappeared without a trace, and the prestige did not start one, directly integrated into the air of the heavens and the earth. In the middle of the 5 tornadoes, 5 people, 4 Taoists, and 1 old man appeared. Fang Han saw it at one glance. One of the 4 Taoists is a wishful child. The rest of the people, apparently among the 3 immortals and the old, are the succulents, the copper feet, the Lulanpa, and the clouds. Hey, Ruyizi, this is the little obstacle that will challenge you. When it fell to the platform, the old man developed the words, and the yin test laughed. He pointed a cigarette in his hand to Fang Han. This small obstacle, there is nothing surprising, actually dare to despise the majesty of the ancient giants, is it impatient to live? This old man is Lulanpa. Fang Han eyes and eyes, such as frost like snow, watching this old Lulupo, I saw the other side is small, black, holding a hammer on the hand, black smoke around the circumference of the body constantly spinning. It seems to be the magical method of cultivation, and I don't know how to cultivate it into a giant. Old demon, here is the door of the feathers, not the backcountry of the wild and barbaric land outside your domain. You are not doing anything in your mouth, it seems to be looking for death. Sooner or later I will take you down, seal the mana, throw you inside the worst brothel in the world. Let you try what you want, but you are too old and ugly. I am afraid that some old people will not care. Although Fang Han's tone is understated, the words are very vicious. What do you say? Kid, you are looking for death. Lulanpa listened, and immediately became furious and thundered. The pin in the handle was pointed and a black gas spurt out. Lulanpa is completely angry. As a giant of the ages, she did not know how many years, and she stood on the starry sky outside the domain. Like the dragon Taoist, she is the master of a planet, although it is far from the world of Xianhuang. Compared with the 10th door of the fairy road, but also the one side, the person who is admired, no one has ever slandered her. The steamed sticks are waving, the black smoke is blazing, the black smoke is like a snake, and the net is laid down. It is necessary to trap the cold and give him an unforgettable lesson. This one is a magic weapon of Lulanpa. It is a kind of under-the-counter, called the Heavenly Bird Stick. After hard work for thousands of years, collecting materials, it is a successful sacrifice. In general, the ancient giants can only sacrifice the next taster. The strong who cultivated the undead body can sacrifice the Chinese style. If it is a strong person like Feng Baiyu, comprehend the space, the rules of time, and the magic of creation, you can carry out the transformation between the materials, the stone into gold, the water into oil, you can refine the Shangping. And if you have cultivated the level of the heavens, you have your own world and the power of the world. You can refine the perfect machine. Although Lulanpa is a giant of the ages, she is far from the body of immortality. It is impossible to sacrifice the Chinese style, but this kind of under-the-counter is a fusion of the souls of many powerful birds. The speed of firing a spell is comparable to that of instant kill. The reason why she became a giant in the ages was to get a masterpiece from the ancient times to be a high-ranking predecessor, Lingling master, called Tianshijing, a few medicinal herbs that increased Shou Yuan. In the millennium, I also made a wish to communicate with each other. Under the chance of coincidence, I was promoted to the giant of the ancient times. But it is here to stop. How can you not cultivate the second life of the longevity secret? But the longevity secret is the longevity secret, and the majesty is not to be offended. A piece of the next product, I dare to arrogate in front of me. Give me a break. Fang Han faced the spur of the black smoke, did not want to think, suddenly burst, grabbed with his hand, he tore all the black smoke open, fingers and bullets, one round. The big daylight light, a round of meniscus-like edge, gathered together, stunned, directly killed in front of Lulanpa. Sun and moon fine wheels, a pair of Chinese-style dishes. Lulanpa made a black smoke and wanted to give Fang Han a lesson, but where she knew that the other party's hands were raised, she broke her hard-working suffocation and counterattacked it. The vast sun, the moonlight, forced I can't breathe. The power of the Zhongpindao is inherently terrifying, let alone a pair. Moreover, the power of this attack is that Fang Han has brought the celestial spirit of the tree of the world, and the wooden Taoist people have poured their own celestial elements into the sun and the moon, which is equivalent to the two giants at the same time. It's awkward, and a series of sounds are heard. The roads arranged by Lu Lanpa were banned, and the body was suffocating. Under the rotation of the sun and the moon, the light was like a broken bamboo. It was about to fly and see her body smashed into 2 pieces. Humph! A bamboo-like old man around her snorted, and the body flew forward, raising a hand-shaped brilliance and resisting the sun and the moon. This is Lu Lampa's husband, Yun Yun. Known as Too Old. Ruyizi saw this scene in front of his eyes, his face smirked, and suddenly his palm turned, and the shape of a Dan furnace was looming behind his body. Come back. Fang Han had already prepared for the good old furnace of the Shangpinji on Ruyizi. When the heart and the gods moved, the sun and the moon fine wheel immediately rotated and flew, and they would be charged back. You are a small obstacle, no wonder so dare to be so arrogant. I thought I got 2 pieces of Chinese goods, you can challenge me. Today I will first take your pair of sun and moon fines, let you know what is powerful. If Ruyizi is willing to let Fang Han recover the sun and moon fine wheel, the ancient wild furnace slightly rotates, and there is a dark black cave suddenly appearing inside. Even the light is absorbed into it, the space is infinitely collapsed into the inside, the sun and the moon are actually absorbed. You have to make a straight spin and project it inside. What are you 3 immortals and 2 old friends, a group of friends and friends? Is it because you want 5 people to join hands to deal with me? Fang Han's body repeatedly moved, and a breath of mouth spurred. The sun and the moon fine wheel suddenly painted a lot of mysterious symbols. Boom! At this moment, an invisible force cut into the between Fang Han and Rui, and Fang Han only felt the sun and the moon fine, and flew back. Subsequently, there was an extremely handsome boy on the heavenly platform. The white clothes win the snow, the fingers are long, the hair is flying, and the coveted clouds are the eminent, the white feathers. When the wind white feather appeared, the words did not say, the handle even waved. Suddenly 4 crystals, directly wrapped Lu Lanpa, Yun Yun, Mai Shuxian, Tongshan, and then a shock, this, 2 immortals and 2 old. They were directly sent into the welcome hall, and under them there was a spa chair, which was the crystal light that wrapped them. Damn, this wind white feather is really powerful. All 4 of us are giants of the ages. He waved between them, and we are like a doe. It is a powerful force. Lu Lanpa was wrapped in crystal light, and immediately felt that the whole body could not move up and down, the mana could not work, and when she was sent into the welcome hall, she tried hard to leave the chair and stand up. Actually, it was imprisoned. Between the wind and white feathers, it seems to be polite, and the 4 people are returned to their seats, but in reality they are imprisoned. Hey! These 4 people are really not self-sufficient. People are like the child, and Fang Han is the inside of the feather door. You are 4 scattered and wishful, and you can't help but yell at the inside of the door. As early as 3,000 years ago, it was of killing. I don't know how many devils and sorcerers were killed. What you call the 3 immortals is actually a small role. It's easy to kill you. Several people saw this scene and sneered again and again. These few people are the deputy heads of Tai. And the smoke and water days are now the same level of existence. This time I was invited by Rui, came to testify and the duel of Fang Han. Although they carry the majesty of one door, they dare not scatter wildly at the feather gate. You, today, is a true disciple of Yu Huamen and an elder to solve personal grievances. This is not a happy event, but there are complaints and resentment, and there is revenge. I feathered the door to pay attention to the 2 words fair. Unchanged, the sound is transmitted to everyone's ears. Today, come here to watch Fang Han and Rui's elders fighting privately. There are too many disciples, there are also elders who are exquisite and blessed, and there are many giants. But I don't want anyone. Intervene between Fang Han and Rui Zi. Rui, Fang Han, how do you feel? Hey, the teacher brother, Fang Han is a big man, and he has no respect for it. And today he volunteered to challenge me. I have to fight. If I kill him, I hope that my teacher will not care. Rui is cold and cold. Laughing. Life and death duel, each piece of mind. Wind white feathers do not have a little bit of emotion, palms are free to draw a stroke, there are countless crystal walls around the celestial table, you have the top quality equipment between each other, even if forced to life and death the Jedi, the self-destructive god, will not be pulled down by one side, But in order to prevent your mana from damaging the heavenly platform, and affecting everyone, I will live in the emptiness of a radius of 50,000 feet. You can use your magic power to make a difference, and each is reluctant. Yes, teach the Supreme. Fang Han looked at the surrounding crystal wall and knew that this was the barrier laid down by the Emperor's mirror. No one could break it. So, let's get started. The wind-white feathers flashed and disappeared without a trace. The penalty platform. Up and down, left and right, all directions. At this time the layer of crystal wall that was completely displayed by the wind-white feathers, so that the aftermath of the battle will not be leaked, and now the rest of the mind and Fang Han are in it. I don't think that the teacher is not defending you. It is obvious that he has already disappointed you and completely abandoned you. The head of my feathering door is my apprentice He Qian. This is the result of destiny. Looking at the surrounding layers of crystal walls, I was satisfied with the smile. He thought that Feng Baiyu would block himself from killing the cold, but he did not expect that the two people would let the two live and die duel. In front of many people, Feng Baiyu Jinko Yuyan will not repent, his heart naturally smug. Fang Han, you are now begging for mercy, still have time. You kneel on the ground, bow to me, I will not kill you. Or else rely on you the incomplete Huangquan map. There are 8 battalions, and the descendants of the devils are not my opponents. Today, we will end up with a dead end. Dead. At this moment, Fang Han knows that he can kill the wishfulness wholeheartedly. He is not afraid of other people to intervene. Feng Baiyu has said this. It must be a duel between himself and Ruyi. No one can intervene. In the face of the triumph of Ruyi, he only has one word, that is death. When the body moved, Huang Quantu first flew out and there was a scent of the nose everywhere. A door of the nose was opened, and the bridge of knives appeared at the foot of Fang Han. The 8 Buddhism, from his mouth, called, spit out, and changed into a mountain peak pagoda. Going forward like Ruyi. This 8 Buddhism was cultivated by Fang Han in the past few days. Among them, the 8 melting furnaces and the 5 prisons of the kings were merged into one. They have changed into a Taoist device. The power has increased more than before. This shot is immediately fine. The road, the rumble of the rumbling, the resounding, the inside is full of 10,000 pieces of magic weapon, as well as the glory of the sun and the moon, the thousands of rounds of the sun, the wheel of the moon, the rotation everywhere, the wall of the white feathers. They are shaking and seem to burst at any time. At this moment, the wooden Taoist people are hidden in the 8 Buddhism, urging the vitality, and attaching their own, Yuanshan to the tower body. Above the tower, a pure Yang Xianqi of the stock is the moon fine wheel, the rotation of the Holy King absorbed, making these devices begin to violent. Bang! The 8 floating squirts spurt out those magic weapons, as if a giant sacred sent out the cry of destruction of the heavens and the earth. In the face of such a pressure, the look of the smug face changed. Huang Quantu's door of the nose, the bridge of knives as an auxiliary, the 8 Buddhism as the main attack, it shows the power. The 8 floaters roared and roared, spurting thousands of magic weapons, and even more wooden Taoist people. The black secluded king runs the heavens and the earth, and the **** controls the commanding demon. The power can make the giants feel terrible. Ruyi has never seen such a horrible magic weapon. Hey! He was almost a moment and he felt that the heavens and the earth had collapsed, and the power of arrogance had caused him to move around the body. This is clearly the master of his level and is urging the magic weapon. Otherwise it will not give him such a big pressure. At this moment, he was too late to use the ancient furnace. After all, this Shangpingji is not his, but Huatiandu, and he has already recognized He Qian as the master. There is no magic weapon that is refining itself. Oh! Oh! On top of his head, the giant was rushed out. This giant is exactly the same as his face. He took a jade like a hand. He is a Taoist man. He is up to 100 feet, and he has withstood 8 battalions and supported the tower. Come down. Ruyizi, I am a wooden Taoist, presiding over these 8 floating sects. Your realm is the same as mine. I can't help you. I can quickly convert into the sacred sect, or else you are not far from death. The wooden Taoist sang the syllables with the great Pudu Zen. The ancient giant, the ancient giant. How can there be a giant in the 8 floating sects? Rui has a clear sense of the 8 floating sects, the pure yang that is constantly entangled, and the huge celestial spirits that have come down from the void. He immediately knew that among the 8 floating sects, there was a giant of the ages. And his existence of a level is the first of the longevity secrets, the master of one show. He finally knows what Fang Han relies on. Ruyizi. You never imagined, I am relying on what has the power to kill you. Hey. After I came out from Linglongfu, I encountered the dragons and the Taoist people. The result was that both of them were defeated by me. The wooden Taoist people have been turned into the Yuanshan and become a powerful instrument in the 8 Buddhism. Now they have merged with the 8 Buddhism. The strength of the wooden Taoist people is not under you. Now you know why I challenge you. Let's go. Ruyizi. You still want to kill me, how is it possible? I am killing you today. Let your gods die? You are not useful for self-destruction of the gods. Because I have Huangquan, you can't tear this. It's a great tool. It's still going to be used for me. The screams of the cold and the screaming, the sounds are like 1,000 dragons together, and the 8 bas-reliefs went down, and they even kept the wishfulness and fell to the top of his head. What? The giants of the ancients were refining, as a spirit. Dragon people, the wooden Taoist people went after the killing of Fang Han, and they were actually taken by him. How could this be absolutely impossible? The giants of the ancients were all turned into magic weapons, which is simply shocking and shocking. How is this possible? I don't believe it. Even if Fang Han is so powerful, it is impossible to turn a giant, but the facts are in front of me and I have to believe. What is the origin of this son? What characters are there behind him? Is it true that Huangquan is still dead and is blessing him? When Fang Han sacrificed 8 floating sects and the Trojans entwined above, all the giants watching, the masters were boiling, and the emotions almost went out of control, surrendering a giant as a tower body spirit, which is not necessarily a fairy martial art. With this means, it is difficult to kill the giants of the ages and surrender their hearts, making them dead. Even if you force, you will do it. The autumn drizzle stood up fiercely. When he left the exquisite land, I asked the teacher to say that there would be something to do with it. I taught the fairy to say 2 words. Nothing. I don't think he is really shocked. And also got the benefits of Tianda, such as Yizi may decide to be killed by him this time. Good means, it is no wonder that this kind of obstacles dare to kill the Jin Dan disciple who is too one of us. He even turned the giants into the magic weapon. This means? In the eyes of several deputy directors of Taiyiman, there was also a panic. They exchanged ideas with each other. Fang Han is not going to be removed. I am too young to have a day. Now that I am in a mysterious way, I can surrender to the ancient giants. If he waits for the realm of the Van Hoff giant, then he still has it. After I go back, I must tell the original message to the Supreme Master. I will look for an opportunity to kill Fang Han at all costs. Ruyizi is awful this time. Fang Handu has turned into a man of ancient woods. His strength is infinitely close to him. There are so many magic weapons. I don't know if I can completely kill Rui. That's impossible. I have a big wild stove on my hand, and I also have a top grade. And he can play 80% of the power. Fang Han may not have got him, but I want to take a look. Fang Han practiced the world. What is the legal phase? For a long time, he did not sacrifice his own law of the bottom of the box. At this time, the elders of the sacred sentence also showed their inner uneasiness. The palm brother, Fang Han can't think of hiding so deep. Now I am afraid that it is really dangerous. Very good, very good. Fang Han really is an outstanding figure of my feathering door. Actually, I have turned a giant of the ancients into the magic weapon. This time it really surprised me, but it is not so easy to have a big wild furnace. Defeated. And Rui also cultivated an extremely secretive supernatural power, and it is not a means of not pressing the bottom of the box. Feng Baiyu closely watched Fang Han. His face showed a smile. This is really good. Not bad. At this moment, his eyebrows, suddenly a crystal flashing, like a mirror, through the infinite time and space. You see a huge eyeball hidden in a hidden time and space, watching everything here. It should be innate. Are you looking at the eyes of the end method? I knew that you have become an eye of the last method of the last class, and also rewarded to your son, just for the sake of Fang Qingxue. But my heart is not in your heart. Your son's efforts are in vain. When the wind-white feathers move, it is necessary to emit the mirror of the Emperor's mirror. Where do you know that the huge eyeball hidden in the depths of infinity and time seems to be aware of the danger, and suddenly disappeared without a trace, so that the wind-white feather can no longer be sensed? Congenital demon. The devil and the congenital emperor sat on a white bone lotus in the air. In the air, a huge eyeball was turning. Father, why do you suddenly accept the eye of the end of the law? The devil just saw Fang Hanfei flying out of the 8 floating sects, the scene of the ruthlessness, but the eyes of the end of the law suddenly flew back from the depths of time and space. All the pictures were interrupted. There is nothing, but the wind-white feathers are aware of it. The congenital emperor said, I would like to compare it with the wind-white feathers, and display the congenital magic, to see if he can see it again. Between the words, he squirted on the eyes of the end of the law. The face showed a smile. Fang Han, this son, interesting, very interesting, actually surrendered a giant. I really want to see this and talk to him now. If you want to sacrifice your big wild furnace, you really want to die under my hand. On the stage of the sentence, Fang Han and Rui's opponents took the upper hand. The 8 bas-reliefs hosted by the wooden Taoist people broke out. The above is a total of the sun and the moon, the rotation of the Holy King, the 8 furnaces of the 4 furnaces, the lethality of the earth, and under the auspices of the giants of the ancients, Rui has been completely suppressed. Live. In particular, the wooden Taoist people have not only restored their full strength, but because they have the body of the gods and the roots of the world tree, they have cultivated the emperor of the emperor, and they have vaguely broken the mystery of the realm of immortality. The smell of the tree of the world is great for Fang Han, but it is not as high as it is to raise the realm. But for the wooden monster, it is something that can change its own destiny. Moreover, Fang Han specially taught him the emperor of the emperor, and made him more aware of the origin of the wood. The current wooden Taoist people are much more powerful than they used to be. Hosting so many magic weapons, playing like a child is almost breathless. Fang Han did not help, but secretly put his own fate and the law. Half of the undead body gathered into a whirlpool, nourishing the bodies, big chaos Lei Jian, and not extinguishing the electric sign. The most tyrannical weapon he has now is the strength of the combination of the 2 upper-class goods. It is enough to break through the ancient furnace and kill the wishful child. However, Rui has a desperate method. If he is to display what he is doing, it's not unusual to be pulled back. Fang Han. You think that I am poor in this skill? I also cultivated the Panwu vigorous power, the incarnation of the Jiugong University, and the 9 heavens and the earth. Just like the singularity of the 8th Buddhism, it seems to have provoked some kind of secret law, and suddenly burst into the 9 breaths in the mind. These breaths have gathered into a respectable world of law. Actually there are 9. A total of 9 heaven and earth law. Each heaven and earth law issued a tyrannical force, shocking the surrounding void. Ruyizi actually cultivated the 9 world laws. He actually cultivated the great source technique and opened up 9 knowledgeable seas. After the 9 great seas were promoted to the giants of the ancient times, they could actually change the 9 worlds of heaven and earth. How much earth and earth will this have to be? Give me a drive? After the wishful son flew out of the 9 worlds, he supported the 8-part float. Then the body rotates, and a bit of the fairy scent is sprayed into the ancient wild furnace, and it begins to spur the power of this superior smelter to smelt everything. 9 heaven and earth law. After the cultivation of the great source to the giants of Van Ho, it is so wonderful, but only one of the 9 heavens and the earth is true. The rest are all condensed and contain no magic power. Fang Han ate surprised, but then he also saw that the power of the 9 heavens and the earth is amazing, but only one of them is real. The wishful son is really extraordinary, the giants out of the big door. After practicing the big source technique, 9 natural world laws were condensed. Although Fang Han saw it, the 8 heavens and the earth's law is purely condensed by the celestial world. There is no magical law contained in it, but it is also equivalent to the body of the body, the second God. The power is huge. Moreover, these 8 heavens and the earth are composed of pure yang. Every heaven and earth law, like the scorching sun, shines in the air, sending out a radiant light, straight into the sky. Even if many people outside the crystal wall feel the strong pure yang of every heaven and earth, they can refine any yin. 9 heavens and the earth combined with each other, and opened 8 floating sects. If Yizi rushed out and spurred the ancient sacred furnace, the entire scorpion began to collapse, and it was projected into the great sacred furnace. The 8 floating squads operated by the woody people were also a bit unstable, and they were almost inhaled into the ancient furnace. He immediately tried to shrink the mana back, and all the magical treasures of the day were taken back into the 8 floats. The strength of the sun and the moon was also tightened back inside, so as not to be sucked away by the ancient furnace. The ancient wild furnace is now a Shangping Dao. Under the urging of the giants like Rui, the power exerted is really terrible. Fang Han, this wishful child, actually refines into the 9 heavens and the earth, and it is the condensation of pure yang. The power is great, I can't suppress him. According to his ability, it is impossible to condense this. More pure yang. Yes. He must have got the 2 cents and 2 old sacred elements, and then 5 people use the big wild furnace to cultivate at the same time, purify the celestial spirit. The 5 giants join hands and spend the fine yuan to help he condenses these 9 heavens and the earth that are condensed by pure yang. Although the Taoist people converted to Fang Han, but the wisdom did not decline, but instead expelled the distracting thoughts, cultivated the great Pudu Zen light. After the Qing Emperor Muhuangong, the more wisdom beads are in the grip. I immediately guessed why Ruizi would condense the 9 worlds. Fang Han, you are forcing me to kill you. Do you think that you have turned a pheasant to bury a wooden Taoist? Would you like to be against me? I tell you, you are wrong, wrong and wrong. Ruizi's 9 heavens and the earth's law issued a shocking voice, surrounded by the 8 Buddhism, the ancient wild furnace. Give me a collection. 8 Buddhism, Mudao people. Your resistance is useless. I have accumulated enough pure yang. The gas can make this top grader completely violent. The collapse caused by the ancient wild furnace immediately enveloped the 8 floating sects, and although the rafters stabilized the tower, they were of no use. This magical Dan furnace has endless functions. As long as there is enough mana to motivate him, it can distort time and space and smelt everything. If Rui is ready to do a good job, it seems that although he is a giant, he has no intention of looking at the cold, but the 5 people joined forces, consuming the essence of the life and the accumulation of the pure world of the celestial world. The law of heaven and earth seems to be desperate. 3 immortals and 2 old so united? In order to be like the sun, the other 4 actually do not hesitate to spend the life of the essence. There is nothing here. Today, Rui and Fang Han are gambling. If Rui has killed Fang Han, then you can get Huang Quantu, Babu Futu, and many magic weapons. For these things, Sanjian and Lao will not spend the money. It is true that Sanjian and Lao will spend the money and get these things. Not to mention Huang Quantu, even if it is forgotten, it is of great value. After getting it, there is an opportunity to break through the immortal body. But this time Fang Han actually surrendered a giant of the ages, and I am afraid that I will not be able to surrender. Fang Han seems to have never shown his true strength. I am looking forward to his 93 magical powers. What is the real world law? Many of the giants have been talking about it. They know that this battle is wonderful. Fang Han is a small obstacle. The old body consumes the fate of the life, and the pure yang vitality of 500 years of purification help Rui to turn out the 9 heaven and earth law, and repair it into a big battle. Just wait until today, kill you. After you die, you will get your magic weapon. You have so many magic weapons in this small obstacle. The richness of this harvest is simply unimaginable. Although Lu Lanpa was shackled by Feng Baiyu, her heart was very happy, and her eyes showed greed and brilliance. Although at the beginning, Fang Han sacrificed the ancient man of the wooden Taoist man, she was shocked, but after seeing the wishful sun, and suppressing the 8 Buddhism, the heart was overjoyed. The power of the ancient wild furnace is really powerful. I can't think of the wishfulness in a short period of time. I have become a 9-day world law. Pure Yang Yuanshan, strength is now far above me. Unless I break through, the undead body can compete with him. This time Fang Han Ruo does not have what cards are hard to beat like a child. I am afraid that both sides will end up losing both sides. The elders of heaven are worried and hurried. He knows that Rui has cultivated so many pure Yang Yuan, which can greatly enhance the power of the Tao. If you simply swallow a pure Yang Yuan to the ancient furnace, then the spirit is immediately violent, and even hundreds of peeps can be collected. The ancient style of the ancient stove, if in the hands of Panwu Xiantuan, can even be a star in the furnace, refining magic. Ruyizi, you want to collect my 8 Buddhism, still a little earlier. Fang Han shakes Huang Quantu, screaming, Dragonfly. Huang Quantu's bridge of the bridge, erected under the 8 Buddhism, suddenly put the floating squad settled, and then the door of the nose opened, fighting against the power of the ancient furnace. A nose of the door? Is it the door of the nose? The strength is too weak. Since you sacrificed the Huangquan map, it would be better. I will even pack up your Huangquan map, and collect it for me. The child's eyes flickered, and the whole person's body suddenly disappeared. Only the 9 heavens and the earth's law were surrounded by the ancient wild furnace, and the pure yang vitality was continuously poured into the upper class. This is the top quality. In the middle, there was a huge mouth, and this huge mouth was screaming, and there were countless black holes in it, which seemed to contain another world. This is the spirit of the ancient wild furnace. There is no real form, it is a huge mouth. The mouth of the gods? Take all things. Ruyizi thought of the spell. Shenchang, ancient, and the gods from the ancient times were completely awakened. Hungry wild gods, awake from the eternal sleep, to eat any strong existence to supplement themselves. The spirit of the ancient wild furnace is called the of the wild. The shape of the wild god is a huge mouth. As soon as this giant mouth appeared, Huang Quantu trembled, and the 8 Buddhism trembled. Even the body of Fang Han felt trembling, and everything disappeared in front of him. Only the black and dark, the huge mouth of the fangs, it seems that God reveals sharp fangs. Thousands of eyes, the Buddha and the magic are one, the supreme, the heavens and the earth. At this moment, Fang Han didn't want to think about it. When the brain opened, an unparalleled airflow rushed out. In a blink of an eye, it became a demon with 100 feet and thousands of eyes. Although he has not been promoted to the realm of reincarnation, he has obtained the power of the world, when the great chaotic thunder sword and indefinite electrician are combined. The benefits are extremely numerous, and the vitality is more tenacious and tenacious. And after so many days of hard work, his command of heaven and earth is more pure, flexible, and changeable, and the understanding of the magic road and Buddhism is more profound. Moreover, he began to practice the chaos leifa, the catastrophe. Although Xiaoqing is not a good starter, there is no entry, but the Black Day Typhoon and the Big Day Fire in the catastrophe are all catastrophe, and he has a foundation. 12 kinds of disasters are connected in series, that is, catastrophe surgery, this 3000 avenues, the top 10 rules of Supreme, 1 of the towns teaching supernatural powers. Therefore, in the law of Fang Han's sacred world, there is a vague temperament in it which is even more terrifying than before. When he really became a catastrophe, the law of the sacred world did not know what it would be like. However, it is precisely because of so many supernatural powers that it delays the speed of his promotion. But no matter how big chaotic leifa, catastrophe is one of the 3000 avenues, if it is not pity to practice, it is hard to cultivate. 3000 avenues, the main outline of the avenue that flows out of the gate of eternal life. The more you flow, the higher your future achievements. If the dragonfly tears the sky, such as the tide of the sun and the moon shakes the earth. Fang Han's Buddha and the magic of oneness, the thousand-handed, thousand-eyed sacred world of the law flew out, immediately torn a large piece of the void. The huge mouth of the ancient furnace has been shaken and opened by Fang Han. This kind of power that shocked the world is really terrible. The entire Yuhua temple is shaken. The masters of the battle, the giants of the ancients have felt the true strength of Fang Han. Thousands of hands, thousands of eyes, holy demon. How can this kind of out of phase? Feng Baiyu seems to be slightly surprised, let alone a few deputy heads. Thousands of hands, thousands of eyes and holy devils. Fang Han's law of heaven and earth, actually the two different high-level realm of Buddhism? How is this cultivated? His Buddhist practice seems to be a kind of pudu. According to the truth, it is impossible to cultivate a different kind of stranger. Is it a question of the magical symbols of the 5 elements? The congenital demon, the innate emperor, also frowned. The 9 songs of the Yellow River map, give me away. The spirit, swallow my pure heaven and earth law, and take hold of this obstacle god. Rui seems to be prepared, seeing the cold world of heaven and earth, and even out without showing weakness, a gloomy smile appeared on his face, and a body suddenly flew out of a device. This piece of the road is a huge picture with 9 rivers, curved, 9 curved and 18 bends. These rivers were actually refining and sealed directly into the map. The power is absolutely amazing. This is the most powerful of the wishful. The magic weapon, the 9 songs of the Yellow River map, is a medium-quality device. And Ruizi, also really fierce, directly separated a pure Yangtiandi law, flew into the map of the 9 songs of the Yellow River, let the spirit of this figure swallow up. Bang! Juku Yellow River map, this medium-quality device, completely violent, 10 times the power. 100 times. The ascension, in the void, flashed a huge river, like a rope, bound to the law of heaven and earth. This pure yang yuanshan of Ruizi, which contains pure yang vitality, is equivalent to several pieces of pure yang magic. The contents of several large Van Ho ships are swallowed up, and the Tao can be completely violent. 9 songs of the Yellow River. Rap. Take the gods. If the wishful son recites a spell, he will abandon a pure yang and let the spirit of the 9 songs of the Yellow River devour. It is necessary to take the of Fang Han, the law of heaven and earth. A medium-quality device, if it is spurred by the giants of the ancient times, burns enough pure yang, the power exerted by it cannot refine the stars, but it can destroy the land of thousands of miles and turn it into powder. In the Juku Yellow River map, the middle of the product is inherently incomprehensible. After abandoning the burning of a pure yang yuan god, the power of the 100-fold increase actually wrapped the square asterisk 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 of the cold hand. In the middle of the road, the magic is unimaginable. Although it is better than the top quality, there are not many pieces of the giants. If you don't cultivate to the body of immortality, you can't make it. Even if you are a strong person who is not dead, you must experience thousands of years of tempering before you can shape it. Rui's Juku Yellow River map is derived from ancient times and occasionally from an ancient monk's adventure. It is also not a refining of the door. However, the 9 songs of the Yellow River have been refining for thousands of years. They have already refined their spirits and can almost reach the point where they can explode. It is no different from your second god. This is also the wish of the willing to work hard. Bang rumbling. Huge tyrannical power lived in Fang Han's sacred world, and wrapped him into the picture. Ha ha ha, ha ha. Fang Han, you are not a giant of the ages after all, although the gods of the gods and gods are powerful, but they do not know, I am a good thing, swallowed the pure sun god, completely violent. I am going to you now die? I want you to die. Do you know? The 9 songs of the Yellow River have been completely refining, and the spirit has been one with my mind. It is equal to my own refining. I want to blue it now. With you, you can't imagine what it is like to swallow up the savage after the madness of the pure yang gods. You can't imagine it. His self-destruction is equivalent to the self-destruction of our eternal giant. Ruizi succeeded in this, and had been planning for a long time. Flying out of the map of the Yellow River, it was also very heart-wrenching. After wrapping Fang Han's law of heaven and earth, it was necessary to spur the 9 songs of the Yellow River to explode. The dead is cold. This shows the fierce domineering of the Van Ho giant and the abandonment. Fang Han can't make the sun and moon fine wheels blew up now. Of course, he can't bear the magic weapon. But Rui is willing. After killing the Fang Han, you can get the Huangquan map, the 8 Buddhism, and even remove a big scourge. Under the urging of Rui, the Juku Yellow River picture trembles madly, and it seems that it will disintegrate immediately. The power of terror is flowing, and it collapses inwardly and condenses. It seems like a black hole. The hole can't devour anything, then explosion, destroying the universe of heaven and earth. Bad. Oops. Rui has this hand. The autumn drizzle of the exquisite blessing saw this scene, and she was shocked, but she did not respond. The heart was so nervous that the whole body actually permeated the cold sweat. The rest of the giants of the ancients all brushed up and stood up. A violent Chinese-style squadron wraps the enemy and explodes. The power is unparalleled, and the giants have to die. Although Fang Han has shown the power of tyrannical horror, but the power of the explosion of Shengpin Dao, he can't resist it, unless he is hiding in the map of Huangquan, but now Huangquan too is sucked by the ancient wild furnace and can't break into it. Enter. The elders of the day sentence also permeated the cold sweat, and the wind-white feathers frowned. The Chinese product is going to explode, and Fang Han will die. The magician who was in the congenital null zone saw it all through the eyes of the last law, blurted out, stood up, and was excited. Should shake your head innately. At this moment, time seems to have been fixed. The explosion of the Zhongxu Road in the Juku Yellow River map is a foregone conclusion. Fang Han and this Zhongpindao are all gone, and it has become a foregone conclusion. However, just in the moment of the 3000ths, in the picture of the 9 songs of the Yellow River, suddenly a sword light, rising from the sky, this sword light, unprecedented, seems to be between heaven and earth, all thunder, all chaos, they all gathered on the sword. One smashed the world, reopening the sword and the will of a world, and condensing together. The void is cut by this sword. Time is chaotic because of this sword. Countless thunder, rising out under the Jianguang, rushing out from the various voids, countless chaos, born in the void, thunder to open the void, to the world, and chaos to destroy the world, return to nothingness. Then the thunder opened up again. One of the 3000ths, just one in 3000. The style of this sword. The prestige of this sword is in the moment of 30 million minutes, and the destruction has reborn many times in the world. Change occurs between moments. Oh. Without any suspense, or even any signs, the Juku Yellow River map was torn, and the spirit of the mad explosion inside it was smothered, because the spirit was killed by this sword, completely obliterating consciousness. The sword has killed a small world in countless times in 3000ths. The 9-curve Yellow River map is also in it. This medium-quality device is destroyed without any chance, and is broken down into the purest vitality. The pure Yang Yuanshan, which was swallowed up inside, has not yet been thoroughly digested, and it has also been released. The wreckage of the 9 songs of the Yellow River, various large arrays of materials. There are also 9 large rivers that have been refining, and all of them have begun to collapse. If the 9 large rivers refining in the Yellow River map of the 9 songs are completely collapsed, the water can flood a country, causing floods in thousands of miles. Flooded countless creatures. But at this time, it has no effect. Just after the spread, the 9 rivers were all involved in this Jianguang, disappeared without a trace. Vaguely, I saw 9 crystal water dragons, which gathered on the sword. All the wreckage was also involved in it, even including the scattered spirit, which was sealed by the sword light into the indecible. Melting has become a vitality, floating in the world of thunder that does not destroy the electric sign. Among the inexhaustible electrical symbols, it is a world of thunder, and if it is pulled into it, it must endure the infinite endless purification of the Taiko gods, such as the gods, thunder, etc. Basically, any existence that is sealed into it will be turned into the most pure element by the violent gods. Especially after the combination of the inexhaustible electric sign and the big chaotic thunder sword, the thunder god has produced a great chaos in the world, and the power is even greater. It is almost possible to tear and crush the giants. Also turned into vitality. A sword. Just a sword. The map of the Yellow River and the Yellow River disappeared, and it disappeared completely. The world and the earth seemed to have never seen this Chinese-style device. It was completely destroyed by the electric and the chaotic sword. Just a sword, Fang Han shattered the map of the Yellow River and destroyed all the hopes of Ruyi. After the combination of the Chaos Thunder and the inexhaustible electric symbol, the power of the world that the unique Taurus device has was born, and the quality has infinitely surpassed the Chinese product. In front of these two top-quality vehicles that have given birth to the world, the 9-figure Yellow River figure in the figure is like a baby still in the shackles, vulnerable. The wind is raging and the clouds are clean. Fang Hanyijian cut open the map of the Yellow River and did not speak. Instead, he concentrated his own method of heaven and earth. The hand grasped the hilt of the chaotic thunder sword, and it seemed like the ancient that opened the earth and the sword. Kill the past. Boom. 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 In the 7th consecutive explosion, Ruyi's 7 gods were killed by the Chaos Thunder, and there was no suspense. The majestic Pyongyang was directly rushed into the thunderous world of inexhaustible electric symbols. In succession, the 8 heavens and the earth were annihilated, leaving only one of life. Ruyi's sacred world is actually full of 71 magical powers. If one is worse, one can build 72 kinds of magical powers and achieve the number of mantles. Clang! The wild of the great furnace, by this sword, exuded a painful roar, violently trembled, and retracted into the body of the furnace. This sword left an indelible mark on the ancient furnace. Injury, serious injury. At least you have to cultivate a nail to recover. Although the ancient wild furnace is powerful, it cannot withstand the power of the world and belongs to the world of the perfect weapon. The mouth of the gods retracted, Huang Quantu, and the 8 floats were freed. What is this? What is this magic weapon, the top-quality device? No, the power of the world is the perfect product. Ah! Ruyizi under this issued an earth-shattering scream. He was full of 8 Pyongyang Yuanshan, all of which were annihilated by the sword of Fang Han, and all the majestic Pyongyang was sucked into it. All the Pyongyang vitality borrowed from Mace Huxian, Tong Shuxian, Lulanpo, and Yu Nu was consumed. These 8 Pyongyang Yuanshan, indeed, he and these 4 people promised to kill Fang Han and exchanged it, but also pressed all their own worth. I don't know how many medicinal herbs were given to these 4 people. Treasures. There are also many magic weapons, medicinal herbs. He even borrowed a lot of medicinal herbs from his apprentice Hua Qianju, and added at least 10,000 pieces of Jiazi Daiden, who had a 6-year life. Although they collectively call the Sanjian Alao, but there is no interest, it is impossible to abandon the life of the essence and save thousands of years of Pyongyang vitality to enhance the power of the wishful child. But now, all of them are gone. A good and powerful Pyongyang essence. The Pyongyang of the 8 great gods is more than the Pyongyang of the 100 Van Gogh ships. It is enough for me to consolidate the sacred magic weapon. Let enhance the power. I can even push me to the realm of reincarnation. But now, I have no chance to refine, and then I will clean up and wait for it. Fang Han's chaotic thunder sword picks up and once again kills the law of the destiny of the world. This sword is bigger than the power. The completely shrouded Ruyi, his face showed a desperate look. This video is end here. Like the video and subscribe to my channel.